Okay, so we have now covered the commutative, the associative, the identity, and at the beginning I told you that there were 4 properties that we were going to talk about. This last one is the distributive property. Now, the distributive property goes to everyone. It's like if I have candy, you guys want me to distribute it to each of you, okay? Or if I have papers that get distributed, like a lot of times there are clues in the words. So if you know what the word means, then it's easy to remember what it does. In this case, distributive is like distributing candy, okay? So it goes to everyone. Now, an example of that would be like 6 times 9 plus 14. So in this case, 6 goes to both 9 and 14. So 6 goes to both 9 and 14. So 6 times 9, I'm going to write it like this, 6 times 9, and then plus 6 times 14. 6 times 9 is that 54. 6 times 14 is 84. We're adding them together. We get our total of 138. Now, that's one way to do it. You'll also notice, like, order of operations says we can do what's in these parentheses. So if we wanted to, we could really say 6 times 9 plus 14. Well, 9 plus 14 is 6 times 23. 6 times 23 happens to be the same thing as 138. So you'll get it correct either way. There's a couple of different ways you can think about it or look at it. Now, we show it like this because eventually the two things in the parentheses won't be able to combine. So you'll get to the point where you're working with like 6 times x plus 3. So when you go through and distribute it, you're saying 6x plus 18. So that's the idea of this way, but realize, yes, at this point you can combine what's in the parentheses and still get the same answer. Okay. So 2 different methods that I want to show you when we're working with the distributive property. One is this tens and 1 method, tens and 1s versus subtract to get the number. To get the number. Okay, so tens and 1s. If we start with a problem like 7 times 29, we can break that up and we can say, okay, this is really saying 7 times 20, because 2 is in our tens place, plus 9. Altogether, you'll notice that 20 plus 9 gives us that original 29 that we started with. It's just breaking it up so that it's easier to multiply. So 7 times 2 is 14, but really not timesing it by 2, we're timesing it by 20, so we add that 0. Now 7 times 9 is going to be 63. So I've distributed it to both of them. Sometimes I do it this way, sometimes I'll do it this way. Either way, it's just that 7 going to both of them. So I've distributed it through, we're adding them together, we get a total of 203. So this is the way of tens and 1s. Over here, we're going to subtract to get the number. This way, we have 7 times 29. We'll see that 29 is really close to 30, but it's not 30, it's 30 minus 1. So right there is our value of 29. We just kind of manipulated it a little bit. So we are timesing it by 7. The 7 goes to both of them. 7 times 3 is 21. We add that 0 because we're really timesing it by 30, not just 3. And then 7 times 1 is 7. We are subtracting this one, so it's important to note that that's a subtraction sign. It's not an addition sign. And then we can take 210 minus 7, giving us that same 203. It works both ways. Whichever one you prefer, whichever one you see, that's the way you'll do. You're going to go ahead and try 2 of those on your own.